Yay. Oh my goodness. I'm so excited to have you on with us tonight, Sarah. So, tell us a little bit about your journey. Introduce yourself about, so we know kind of where you are and what kind of coach you are. And then tell us a little bit about how you started out coaching and where you were at first.
Okay. So I am from Friendswood, Texas. We're a little town close to Houston, and I am a math coach on a campus that's grades 3 to 5 right now. We have a big change coming next year. We'll be flipping and going K to 5 and rezoning. So that's a big change on the horizon. But last year was the very first year for our district to have math coaches. And
Wow.
so I started out the year as a brand new math coach on a brand new campus to me. I had to move campuses within the district, and definitely experienced the same as Michelle, that lost and lonely and just wondering exactly how to get started. I will say that my district has done an awesome job of providing us training, lots of training and support around coaching. There's a team of 8 of us, so we're a close community and can collaborate. But I still found myself when I was getting back to my campus just kind of a little bit lost and like wondering how I could get into teachers' classrooms. And so I did this Kickstart Your Coaching Cycle challenge last year, a year ago. Yes. And it's just made all the difference for me. I've learned so many things. I will say, I mean, I really just focused so much last year on building the relationships and getting teachers to trust me. And as a person, we talk about the runners, and I definitely am a runner, and I wanted to just get to the point where I was in those classrooms, but I had to slow down and realize that I had to build those relationships first. And so I've learned just so much by, continuing on learning from you and, of course, joining the Breakthrough Circle. But I pretty much have just soaked up everything that you've recommended. So I started with that Move Your Bus, reading that by Ron Clark. And that really taught me to focus on the runners, focus on the people who are ready for it, and just seek those people out and pour into them. So that's made a huge difference. And then, really, I think I started to incorporate the exit tickets last year. We have regularly scheduled PD and planning days with each grade level by content. So I would kind of incorporate those exit tickets at the end and just say what was most useful for you today, or what are you wondering? What do you want to work on next? How can I support you? Those kinds of things. And that was good. But then also, like, really at the beginning of this school year, I have a literacy coach counterpart. We started off the year with a Kickstart Your Coaching Cycle, or Kickstart Coaching Kickoff meeting. And we kind of did something that you had shared, where we put the teachers into an activity where they were coaching each other and could experience coaching. And that was really good. And then the game changer for me was I ended that with an exit ticket and just said, what unit during this school year would you be interested in working with a coach on? And I've gone back to those all throughout this school year, and it's led to so many different coaching cycles and just gotten my foot in the door. And it really works. Every teacher that I've gone back to, I've been like, hey, you said that you were interested in this when this unit came up, or you still want to do that? And they're all like, yeah. So
that is so great.
So
like
good.
Months later, this ticket in August. Yeah, you were telling me when we were talking one-on-one that you were like looking into January. You were going to go pull out those tickets of those teachers who were ready for the unit that was happening in January. So like you got this data in August, and now you're still able to use it.
Yes, and it's keeping me so busy. Like right now, I've got 3 teachers who wanted to work on their fractions unit. And so that, I talked to you about that one over the winter break, like, how am I going to do this? So we kind of had a common planning day, unit planning day, where I had the whole team together, and we kind of mapped out, we talked about the standards for that unit. We talked about strategies and some best lessons that we could use. And then I was able to go back with the 3 teachers who were interested in a coaching cycle and meet individually with them. None of them have a common planning period, so they're not able to collaborate, but I was able to meet and just say, hey, what from that planning day, do you want to learn more about? What would you like to try? And what's been really cool is that I can kind of share from classroom to classroom, hey, they tried this, because they aren't always able to see each other on their planning period because they don't have a common planning period. It's just hard for them to catch each other. But a really cool thing, one of my passions is learning walks. I really wanted to get that started. And so I've kind of dabbled in that.
Yeah,
And
you've been asking us about that in the Breakthrough Circle for the whole year that you've been here. Like I remember even last spring, you were like, I want to get this started, but I wasn't sure how. And I know Michelle Ruiz shared some of her tips. So like you've been working on that goal for a while.
Yes. And so my just huge celebration moment was the other day when I was talking with one of those teachers in a coaching cycle, and she was like, I'd really love to go see that in another teacher's classroom. And I was like, oh, well, let me see. I think you can do that tomorrow. I'll come by your class, go do it. And I'm like, this is the culture that we want right here. So
oh, that is so exciting. I love that. And I know you also mentioned coaching them as a group versus coaching them one-on-one. What were some of your insights that that PLC environment versus taking it all the way to one-on-one? What have you found?
Yeah, we talked about that. So I feel like sometimes some teachers might be a little bit reluctant to speak up in that group environment. Just, the different dynamics of teams. And so it was really interesting to go back and talk to them one-on-one, because maybe something that we had talked about as a whole group, they were like, actually, I think I want to do that a little differently. So getting into those conversations with them one-on-one was really beneficial.
Yeah. And that's where we've talked about as a part of the challenge, is where the change happens. Like in the group setting, they can take in information, but if we're going to try and help them change their practice, change their fractions unit, do it a little differently, then we have to be working with them at the one-on-one level, at the practical place where they are trying to try something with their students. It looks different than it might across the hall, even though they're trying to teach, in sync with each other. So I think it's really powerful. I think sometimes as coaches, we are asked to do so many things, and it's easy to leave the coaching cycles to later. But then we don't realize that if you're not getting in there one-on-one, then you're maybe not really helping them and seeing that real change. But I love that it also created a culture of sharing and collaborating.
Yes. That's awesome. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Somebody said, can you tell me about how you got the teachers to coach each other? So this is something that I share in my session that is called How to Introduce Yourself to Faculty. Sorry, that took me a second. But how did you execute it? Because I just share one tool you could use is try and get them to introduce them to coaching. How did you?
I'm trying to think. I really took exactly what you had. And I just had I had them jot down, what is a goal or something that you want to work on for this coming year? And I told them to take a minute and reflect on that. And then they had to just turn to another teacher partner. And I think they had some guiding questions to actually coach each other and have some reflection. Does this sound familiar? Is this how you set it up? And so, because I really did exactly what you had recommended. And they would ask each other, what would be the challenge? What challenges do you foresee? Reaching this goal. And it was really just to show them that is what coaching is, because my campus had never had a math coach until a year and a half ago. And so they really didn't understand what the role of a coach was. And so to put them into that activity and show them that it's just having reflective conversation and, collaborating with each other, I think helped to show them a little bit more, because before they were like, so are you going to come in? Are you going to pull small groups of my kids? What are you doing? And honestly, I had to figure out myself, what is my role?
Yes, that is
so
why
I think that creating that experience for them helped them to see a little bit better. Oh, this is what coaching is, and it's like I've heard you say so many times. We've got to tell them over and over again. You can't just tell them one time, but keep sharing with them what your role is.
Yes, that's the vision casting piece. You are so awesome, Sarah. Thank you so much for sharing these stories with us, because they're so really just practical, just things that people can start using right away and seeing the power of. So I am going to have Casey come on, and she and I